Another really important concept that I wanted to bring up, something that really made me think about my decisions that I was making, was, well, I found some studies. I went over a study that was talking about how bodies decompose, and it basically implied that when a body starts to decompose, it starts to produce the parasites and the bacteria that it needs to decompose the body as soon as there's no more life inside of it. In the test, they actually put a decomposing animal inside of a completely enclosed glass chamber that had no way for air to get in or out of it, and they let the body decompose for a certain period of time. And after a certain period of time, it started to decompose like a normal body would decompose. And there were the same parasites, and maggots even, and other worms and other things that would be in a living body that would have, or a dying body that would have been on the ground outside. And they came to the conclusion that the DNA inside of one's body knows when it needs to start decomposing, and so it actually produces these parasites to decompose the body. And when you put that decomposition, the rotting flesh inside of your body, your DNA starts to get confused as well, and that's where a lot of like pancreas cancer and breast cancer come into play, because your body starts to send out the signals and receive the signals of decomposition, and it starts to affect your body, and it's really negative. Actually, the risk of breast cancer and prostate cancer goes up dramatically, like really badly. Like, I don't want to give out a specific estimate, but you should look into it if you're interested in this. By consuming at least 1 glass of milk a day, the risk of breast cancer and prostate cancer is like unfathomable. Like, you really like don't want to be drinking an animal excrement. Actually, milk can be deemed up to 60% pus from infected udders before they take it off the shelves, because of how shitty their living conditions are and the position they're put in. They literally sleep in their own feces because they have nowhere else to sleep, and their udders get so infected that it's like pretty gruesome stuff. Like, I've talked to some dairy farmers that really have done a lot of this, and they actually explained to me how common practice it is to have to cut open the abscesses inside of the legs and other body parts of these cows and just push out massive amounts of fluid that looks almost exactly like milk but isn't quite milk. It's actually infected pus from the abscesses in their body. But yeah, on another note, like, that's just like the health side of it. Another good one that I like to think about is just kind of like a concept, like a could be type deal. It's artificial intelligence is getting really big nowadays. Actually, we're getting to the point where here soon in the next 5 years or so, Elon Musk and other people like him who are really big in artificial intelligence and put a lot of contribution into making artificial intelligence and robots a thing, have spoken about how basically, like, we are giving AI a really shitty example. We're birthing them into a world where they are learning from us. They're learning from our internet searches, everything that's on the internet. They're learning from the experiences they have with us. I mean, the first artificial intelligent robots that have been released to the public to help the communities were either war robots, soldiers, gambling robots, or sex robots. And after Elon Musk brought this up to the people who are making these robots and said, hey guys, this might not be a good example to give an infant AI as his first learning lesson from humanity in his first few blinking years, they actually started to take heed, and they started making nurse robots. And the nurse robots take care of kids and children that are sick. And so that was good. They're really helping out there. But the advancement in sex robots are getting really crazy, and also war robots, and even the gambling robots. Like, just artificial intelligence is really intelligent nowadays. had a lot of experience. But another interesting concept for me is how they're going to be seeing how we treat less intelligent creatures, how we value their lives. And, well, to AI, we are going to be like as intelligent as an ant. Like, we're not going to be very intelligent. We're going to be like an ant looking at a keyboard on a monitor and trying to figure out what it does compared to how smart it is, because they learn exponentially. Like, when they learn all the information together. Like, the Tesla cars that are out today, they learn on one big program. When one car learns how to maneuver around an accident or around a corner, or even just gathers information about street signs and other things like that, all of the million plus Tesla vehicles that are in the world learn that exact lesson at the exact same moment. So every hour of knowledge of driving that these cars endure, they actually learn 1,000,000 hours together at the same time. So when they see what we're doing to these animals that are less intelligent, how we round them up, how we put them in horrid positions and consume their flesh and don't really care for their well-being or anything, or even our own well-being in the first place, we're going to be considered, well, honestly, probably really stupid. And they may use the example that we've given them. That was just the idea that Elon Musk had, is that we're going to be giving them a really crappy example of detriment and just how we treat lesser animals. So, I mean, if you don't want to do it for your own health because you don't care about yourself, and you don't really want to do it about the animals because you really don't care about the animals, I guess the world, like, do you care about the world? Probably not, because we drive a lot of cars and we pollute a lot of gas and we destroy a lot of things, which is horrible because, like, I contribute to that, but I just, like, want to do the least amount of damage to this planet that I can. Doesn't mean I'm always going to do that, but like, driving around, like, it's hard not to. Like, I need to have a vehicle that drives around, and I'm not rich, so it's hard to buy a Tesla, even though Teslas have their, controversy about how environmentally friendly they are. But if I want to live a little bit longer, at least another 50 years, then I want to take care of the planet, because there's a lot of damage that's already been done to this planet. Actually, over 50% of the emissions that are globally found are actually caused by the animal agriculture industry. They are caused by the amount of methane that's produced by these animals and the amount of dangerous gases and other things that are put into our environments, which are killing off, well, massive amounts of ocean and land everywhere, rainforest land. I think it's about an acre a second, not an acre, it's about a football field of land a second is destroyed in the rainforest alone, just for grazelands and croplands for specifically animals. Think about this concept. If we didn't have to feed cows the tremendous amount of food that they have to eat, and when they say, like, oh, that person eats like a cow, like, they're not joking. Like, cows eat a lot of food. They eat way more food than you or me or anyone you know eats in one setting. We could feed the world multiple times over. And these are facts. I don't know the specific numbers, but I just don't remember them at the moment. There's a lot of food that's produced just for animal agriculture. I think it's 2/3 of the world's food in general. Like, soybeans, actually, I think it's about 4% of soybeans are actually used for human consumption, only about 1% of that being tofu. The rest of it being stuff that's in, like, cookies, ketchup, and other stuff like that. And all the other 96% of the soy that's produced in the world is fed straight to livestock, which actually makes consuming meat and dairy, the animal agriculture industry, the #1 cause of world pollution, world hunger, and I think poverty as well, because the lack of distribution of wealth that occurs from that. It's a really big issue. I really encourage anyone who actually took this video seriously to do their own research into any subject they're ever interested in, but I really think this is an important subject. That's why I'm making this video, because there's going to be a lot of conflicting ideologies, and people don't like you messing with their money. They're going to talk about it. They're going to try to push it away. And I think it's really important to always learn both sides of an argument, especially if you want to argue against that argument, because you want to know how they're trying to degrade your argument, and it's really important to know what sort of ammo they're going to use, because when you start learning both sides of the argument, you can start debunking the ideas yourself and coming up with your own opinions. And that's basically what most knowledge is opinions based off of what we call facts. And facts are really important to know on both sides so you can come up with your own opinion. Good luck.